he kept doing stuff like that. Greetings. I'm online and I'm on the air, bringing you another art blog because I strongly believe that it's blogging time. So, what are we waiting for? Let's get blogging. Yeah. This blog is going to be like another angry one, or depressing one, I guess. I don't want to end up becoming known as the person that just makes these like really angry, depressing blogging videos or something like that. Like, I don't want to just end up becoming known as the person that just does that kind of content. You know what I mean? Then should just stop now. Okay. A while back, I was part of a group project type thing. We were supposed to build some type of it was kind of like a game level, sort of like a game level. We had to like build a bunch of assets for this thing and render it out and such, and it was supposed to make a nice portfolio piece. But this project, oh well, it was a bit of a disaster, as these type of projects tend to be. I think part of the reason why it was disastrous was because, well, we're all artists, right? And the issue with like a lot of like art-orientated individuals, such as myself included, I'm also guilty of this, is that we are so accustomed to just doing our own thing, flying solo on a project. It's like we don't really know how to function as a group. It's a bit of a train wreck. And actually, that's like one of the good things that I have to say about like the animation program, because that time I was there, it seemed like they were trying to incorporate more like group projects. So I think that's like really good. That's really healthy for like art people, because like art people need to they need to learn how to work in a group. They really do. It's virtually like it's virtually like an essential skill, especially if you want to get a job in the field in the industry. If you want to work in a studio or something, you need to be a team player. You have to be. There's no two ways about it, man. Nobody works in a bubble. No one in these studios works in a bubble. Oh, I feel like I got a little sidetracked. Where was I? Yeah, game jams are actually pretty good for that too, because you're working with people to like make a game for this game jam, right? So yeah. So yeah, that was part of the problem. Another part of the issue was, well, there was like this one dude during the project that was, well, difficult. Like, they kept throwing their weight around, and it's just sort of farted things up. I mean, when you're working on a group project like this, you can't do that. You can't just throw your weight around. You have to be receptive to other people's input. Like, I tried to tell other people, like, yo, this guy is being a difficult, crazy person, but nobody would listen to me. Oh man. I swear, man. I swear. This is like the story of my life. This is definitely the story of my life, man. Nobody listens to me. I swear, man, that's the story of my life. Like, nobody listens to me. And then, like, after a week or so, everyone else saw that, like, yeah, this guy really was being a difficult, crazy person. And, like, the dude openly admitted himself that he was being a difficult, crazy person. He was all like, I need to stop, otherwise everyone's gonna end up hating me. And then he just carried on the same way. It was kind of weird. The guy kept insisting that I do things in a way that couldn't possibly work and just didn't make any sense for a series of technical reasons. And even when I tried to like point these things out and point out like a better way of approaching building any of this stuff, like show them working examples, documentation, and what have you, the guy just wouldn't listen. He just insist that I had to do it his way. They had this whole my way or the highway kind of attitude. And he'd basically harass you about it relentlessly until you inevitably caved in, and he'd basically just forced your hand. He'd sort of force you to do it his way. And then when the thing blew up in your face, they'd be all like, why'd you do it like that? Yeah, I guess you're just an idiot. Yeah, I'm an idiot for doing it the way you forced me to do it. Following your instructions makes me an idiot. Oh, okay, alright. Okay then, alright then. That's real nice. I just imported an asset into ZBrush, right? And because it's been in ZBrush for like 5 minutes, it doesn't look like anything. It still looks like, well, garbage. It doesn't look like anything. And the guy would give me a hard time because of that. And they would compare it to one of my other ZBrush projects, like an older project that I received a significant amount of praise for this older one, right? And asked me, why doesn't this new asset look more like the old one that I received lots of praise for? Well, I guess you just suck. I mean, the other asset I spent about like a week on, right? This new one, I've been working on it for like 5 minutes. How can you compare the quality of something that you worked on for like 5 minutes to the quality of something that you've worked on for like an entire week? How's that supposed to work? That doesn't make any sense. He kept doing stuff like that. They insisted I sculpt and retopologize this thing sort of like brick by brick. Something like that. Sort of like that. Alright? Which is absolutely ridiculous. Because doing it that way is like 10 times more work, and the poly count is going to shoot. It's going to skyrocket. It's going to shoot through the roof, to the point of which nothing could possibly handle the asset. And the final product, well, you would never be able to see the level of detail that was being put into this asset, right? It just didn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense. It was just a bad approach to like building an asset. Basically, it didn't make sense. It just couldn't possibly work. I objected to them. They wouldn't listen. If you don't do it his way, he's just going to harass you about it until you caved in. He would just force your hand. He kept doing stuff like that. So, I'm trying to put this thing into the engine, right? And as I predicted before, it's not working. Why? The thing is just... The thing just, it kind of croaks on me, right? Because the poly count is way too high. Of course, I had to do it that way because he insisted I had to do it that way. The solution I came up with was to chop the asset into 2, right? Deleting the side that's not going to be seen by anyone, and break the asset up into like different parts. This would like divide the poly count by like multitudes, like half, more than half, like maybe 5 or 10 times, something like that. It would divide the poly count down by like a significant number, like significantly. When we saw that I was doing it, when we saw I was doing this, he got mad at me for not doing it the way He wanted me to do it as a single piece. He told me I was an idiot. I tried to explain to them what I explained to them from the very beginning of this endeavor. Poly count is too high, blah blah blah, breaking it up, so to lower the poly count, yada yada, blah blah blah, whatever. But they wouldn't listen to me. Then afterwards, when they determined themselves what I repetitively iterated to them, they came back to me. He told me that I was an idiot for not trying to accommodate for that. Told me I should have removed the hidden polygons and broken the asset up into pieces to reduce the poly count. And I was an idiot for not accommodating for that. Wait, I feel like I said that like 3 times already. He kept doing stuff like that.
And now, check out this.
So I'm processing a bunch of these textures. I think it was textures. It was a while ago, I can't remember. Let's say it was textures just for the sake of argument's sake. Anyone that knows anything about processing a series of images the same way in Photoshop knows that there's an easy way of doing this. You just set up a macro and Photoshop just does all the work for you. Instead of you manually making several modifications to a dozen different images one at a time, you use a macro and it makes the task several dozen times faster and easier. He decided I was doing it manually and told me I was an idiot for not using a macro. He kept doing stuff like that. For some odd reason, the man could not seem to comprehend why the hell was it taking me so damn long to do one asset, and he concluded that was just really slow and I just sucked or some such thing like that. The guy literally told me such to my face. The guy was constantly dumping on me. They kept yelling and telling everyone about I was really slow and stupid and hopeless and stuff like that. This guy was relentless, man. He was just this was harassment, man. This guy, this was it was just abusive. This guy was just he was just downright all around abusive. He was just plain abusive. I mean, over the course of 2 weeks, I must have rebuilt one of these assets from scratch around 5 times. Which means every 2 or 3 days, I had a brand new asset. And each time I rebuilt this thing from scratch, on his demand, mind you, he'd be all like, "Whoa, why'd you do it like that? That's not what I wanted you to do. I want you to do it this way." Then I'd have to go back and I'd have to redo it. And they'd be all like, "Why'd you do it like that? That's not what I want you to do. I want you to do it like this." Then I'd have to go back and redo it. He'd be like, "Oh, why'd you do it that way?" Then I'd have to go back again. "Oh, why'd you do that?" Well, I have to go back. He kept changing it every 5 seconds. Every 5 seconds, he changed what he wanted. He changed what he wanted me to do. So I couldn't make any kind of headway. I couldn't pin anything down. I just couldn't pin anything down because they kept changing what they wanted. Literally every 5 seconds, they wanted something completely different. I just couldn't pin anything down. All the problems I was having was because of them, because of their input. They were farting me up the whole way through. I remember at some point in time during the project, they had actually took all my work and they basically threw it out. They just threw it in the garbage. And then they got other people in the group to redo everything that I already done. That I had already done from scratch. They threw out all my work and had other people redo everything I had already done. That was already done. It didn't make any sense. It was a complete waste of everyone's time and energy. It's like the guy basically sabotaged me. The guy was just abusive, man. Like, it was weird because I knew this guy for a few years prior to this project, right? And he always seemed like really cool and calm and level-headed and, well, mature, I guess. But when we went into the group project, it's like he went insane. It's like he lost his mind. And because of everyone there, I probably spent the most time at this studio. There's actually a separate story behind that. But life circumstances, it's complicated. Everyone there, because of everyone there, like I probably spent the most amount of time at the studio. Like his insanity sort of got focused on me. You know what I mean? I got the brunt of it. Like, this guy isn't dumb. I think that they are consciously aware that there's something off about him. You know what I'm trying to say here? And they're trying to conceal that aspect of their character because they know if they allow that side of their being to be, they'll basically end up alienating everyone, and they just won't be able to function or survive or be prosperous in life or in society or some such thing like that. I mean, this guy, he took credit for everything. He took credit for stuff that he didn't even work on. He got himself to look like the hero that saved the group project. I did a few other things that was never really acknowledged or credited for. I was supposed to be like the rigging guy in the group. Yeah, the original plan agreed on from the beginning of the group project was to consult me about doing the rigging stuff and like importing characters into the game engine and basically doing stuff like that. That was the original plan, because I actually seemed to have some understanding of how to do that stuff properly. But when it came time to deal with the rigging, no one consulted me. No one said anything. Not even the project manager. No one said anything to anyone. Everyone just sort of tried to handle it by themselves. Then, when anyone farted it up, like not everyone farted up, mind you, I just want to make that clear. When anyone farted it up, you basically had to stop everything, go back and fix it. It just like held things up. Like, if they just consulted me from the beginning like they were supposed to, then things would have gone a lot smoother. You see, this is what I'm talking about in terms of being a team player, in terms about like working as a team. When you're working with a team, you can like make up for each other's like shortcomings and be better. You're supposed to be able to work better as a team. You're not supposed to be going off on your own and doing your own thing. You're supposed to be helping each other. Well, either way, I knew at some point in time that we were going to have to like put these characters into a game engine, right? So I did some research on to how to do this and posted, whoever. I took all that information, I stuck it on the server, right? I even remember like consulting another group member, like talking to another group member about doing this, right? But like I never received any kind of like credit about like rigging or or getting these like rig characters into the engine or like anything like that. Received zero credits, received zero anything in regards to doing this, to doing things like that. I just sort of got like shafted, and everyone looked at me like I completely dropped the ball, like I must have just panicked or something. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't that. It wasn't me. It was him. He completely farted me up. in the end, he ended up getting the job. And the rest of us basically got shafted. No one wants to say anything because no one wants to be a dick or ruin anyone else's chances of success with any of this stuff, which is actually sort of ironic. I think that's the correct term to use here, ironic, in a way, because it sort of allows them to get away with murder, you know what I mean? They say that everyone's responsible for their own success or something like that, but if there's someone else in the group that is either directly or indirectly farting you up, it's like, that's still on you somehow, which isn't fair and it doesn't make any sense. He kept doing stuff like that. Man, I really hope I don't end up becoming known as this person that just does these like really angry, depressing blog posts or anything like that. Yeah, I know. I should just stop. Like, I need to stop. I'll be. Yeah, yeah. I know. So, if you're new here, subscribe. Enjoy this one. Drop a like. Till next time. Good luck out there. If you can tell from this blog post, well, maybe not this blog post, but you know, it can be rough. So, like, good luck out there, man. Because one way or the other, I know that things can be rough.